No coincidence. I dug this hole the first day we met. We're gonna find out.
We are in broad daylight in the desert, a cold wind stirring dust around a shallow pit. Hazel stood at its edge, gun raised, her expression unreadable. Below her, her daughter's boyfriend struggled against the ropes binding him, eyes wide, voice trembling. Please, I can explain, he begged. Hazel tilted her head, calm as a predator, and said, The day I met you, I knew you'd hurt my daughter, and I knew I'd have to kill you. The gun rose, steady. The screen cut to black before the shot rang out. This isn't her first kill, but this time it's personal. Earlier that week, Hazel's life had seemed ordinary. Hazel's diner smelled of fresh coffee and sizzling bacon. Regulars filled the booths, nodding to her as she moved behind the counter. She comped meals for local cops, a small gesture of goodwill for the day when something serious would arrive. Her daughter, Joy, slid into a booth, eyes bright with teenage rebellion. I'm using my college money, she said, to run away with him. Hazel's eyes hardened. You're not taking him. That boy's dangerous, impulsive, and broke. I won't let him ruin you. The boyfriend appeared briefly in a rear mirror, cocky and reckless, flashing a grin that didn't reach his eyes. Outside, Elliot, a homeless man with a haunted look, tried to pay for a meal with loose change. Hazel waved him over. Wash dishes? Sleep here tonight? You'll be safe? Joy leaned across the table, fists tight. You can't control everything, Mom. I'll leave if I want. Hazel didn't answer, but her jaw clenched. The next day, Joy returned wearing oversized sunglasses. Hazel noted the stiffness in her daughter's step. She grabbed the shades, peeling them off. A black eye glared back. Mom, he hit me, Joy whispered, tears threatening. Please, don't do anything. His family, they'll come for you. Hazel didn't speak. She left the diner quietly, went home, changed into a sharp black dress, and retrieved the gun from under the bed. Every step she took felt like a return to a language she had once spoken fluently, the language of death. Driving to the auto shop where the boyfriend laughed with his friends, oblivious. The shop smelled of oil and dust. Hazel stormed in, her presence alone silencing the room. She shoved the boyfriend against the wall, punching, kicking, every move precise and controlled. A mechanic intervened. A spritz of pepper spray sent him sprawling. She forced the boyfriend into her car. The desert greeted them like a waiting canvas. The shallow grave from the cold open was there. Hazel's hand on the gun was steady. She pushed him into the pit. This was the grave she had dug the day they first met, the day she knew she would need it. The trigger clicked. Silence followed. Meanwhile, Joy called and texted frantically. No answer. Panic spread like wildfire in her chest. Joy demanded answers about her missing boyfriend. Hazel lied. He left after a fight. Joy's eyes darkened. Mom, his family is dangerous. If anyone harmed him... Hazel caught movement outside the diner. A man with a camera lingered near Elliot. Later, she confronted Elliot as he tried to slip away. He dodged questions, silent and guarded. Hazel tracked the photographer to a motel and forced the man to talk. He was a freelance journalist, obsessed with Elliot. On his laptop, Hazel learned Elliot's secret, a former heart surgeon, once imprisoned for a drunk driving crash that killed. Hazel took the laptop and warned the journalist to disappear. Elliot was no innocent, but for now, Hazel would protect him. Phil, a former coworker, arrived at the diner with news. Hazel's old boss had been released from prison. Her body froze. She knew exactly what that meant. She agreed to meet. The man who had found her at 15, addicted and lost, now stood before her. He reminded her of the years he had trained her as a professional assassin. Perry? he said. Eliminate him. Big payday, no mistakes. Hazel refused. She wanted nothing to do with that life. The boss's eyes darkened. Veiled threats slipped into words about Joy. Hazel realized she had no choice. To protect her daughter, she would play the game once more. Hazel surveilled Perry from the casino floor. Distance allowed her to watch and to remember. They had history, 20 years of it, buried but not forgotten. She approached him casually. Conversation flowed, tinged with nostalgia. In his suite, she subtly spiked his drink. But Perry spoke first. I never stopped thinking about you, he said softly. We could start over. Hazel hesitated. She removed the glass, distracted him with a kiss, and hid the evidence. Perry remained unaware of the danger he had narrowly escaped. Hazel left with one thought. He was more than just a contract. He might be connected to Joy. Elliot's text to the boss revealed more than Hazel had expected. He had been sent to report her every movement. At the diner, a cop mentioned teenage girls disappearing across town. Hazel's cook knew nothing, but Phil warned her Perry would soon leave, putting Joy at risk. Hazel felt trapped. She could kill Perry and protect her daughter, or refuse and risk the boss targeting Joy. The screen on Elliot's phone glowed. Hazel will make her move tonight. Perry received a package, a photo of Joy. Clarity hit. Joy was his daughter. Hazel stormed the boss's hideout instead. Silent and lethal, a guard fell without a sound. Phil tried to intercept her. She ambushed him first. In the office, the boss waited, armed, eyes on cameras. He revealed Elliot's betrayal, and, shockingly, that he was Hazel's biological father. I don't belong to your world, Hazel said. A gunshot cut through the tension. The man who created and exploited her was gone. He called himself her father. She decided that was the last lie he would ever tell. Hazel returned home, every step cautious, her body still humming from the previous night's violence. She cleaned up, washing blood from her hands and face, the water turning a dull red in the sink. The familiar rhythm of mundane tasks, the soft swish of a cloth across the counter, the hum of the refrigerator, was a fragile veil over the storm in her mind. She checked on Joy, still sleeping, face soft in the morning light. Hazel's heart swelled and ached simultaneously. The girl had survived because of her mother's choices, because of the life Hazel had tried so hard to leave behind, only to be dragged back in. Hazel lingered a moment longer, brushing a strand of hair from Joy's forehead, feeling the sharp contrast between innocence and the shadows that stalked their lives. The next morning, Hazel passed Elliot silently in the kitchen. His eyes flicked up at her, a trace of unease there, though he tried to mask it. He sensed the danger, the weight of events, but he did not know the full extent. Hazel did not speak. Their silence said more than words could, a fragile truce, an acknowledgement of the battles fought and the ones still looming. Joy appeared at the door, clutching her bag. She hugged her mother briefly, the warmth of the gesture grounding Hazel in what mattered most. Then she borrowed the car and left. The boyfriend, bruised but alive, appeared at the diner briefly, giving a small, wordless nod toward Hazel. The message was clear. Stay quiet, stay unseen, let this chapter remain closed. She let him go, unspoken, unbroken, the weight of restraint pressing heavily on her shoulders. Hazel moved to the window, looking out over the street, the morning sunlight cutting through the lingering shadows of night. The boss was dead, removed from the equation. But something worse lingered just out of sight, a sense of unfinished business, the knowledge that danger never truly left her world. She drew a slow breath, the quiet stretching around her like a thin shield. For now, there was calm. For now, she could exist in the silence. The diner was eerily quiet. Hazel noticed her cook missing, his apron abandoned on the counter. Outside, a stranger lunged at him. Hazel reacted instantly, precise strikes knocking the attacker to the ground. Other men poured in, their focus on the teenage girls nearby. Hazel moved like a storm, neutralizing two assailants with lethal efficiency. A third pulled a gun, firing wild rounds. Hazel fell, blood spreading across the floor. Through the chaos, the attackers grabbed the girls, panic-stricken. They forced them toward the back exit. Hazel tried to reach them, but the remaining men held her down with brute strength. The girls were pushed into a waiting van, idling in the alley. Its engine roared as the doors slammed shut. Hazel strained, bloodied and barely conscious, her eyes following the van as it disappeared into the night. Elliot burst through the diner doors, kneeling beside her. "Hazel?" he shouted, gripping her arm. She coughed, her vision blurred. They took them," she rasped, voice barely audible. For girls like her daughter. She had spent her life fighting monsters for other people. In the end, she fell trying to stop those who came for the innocent.